Hello, my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I've got my July reading wrap up to share with you guys. But it's too hot to go and show my face on camera. You don't want to see it. I don't want you to see it. So I thought, okay, we'll do this podcast style. That way I can still get this up before we get too far into August. Anyway, before we get into the books, I want to mention again, I mentioned this in my last video, but I'm getting ready to do a vlog where I read books that you guys think would be 5-star reads for me. I like books weird. I like books creepy. So if you got those creepy weird recommendations, hand them over to me. Come on. And I've already got a couple good ones, so I'm going to start reading those soon. And yeah, leave me any other ones that you've got. Anyway, in July, I read 8 books. So that's pretty good. And it was a pretty good month. I got 2 3-stars, 1 4-star, and the others, I think, were 5 stars. So we're just going to go in the order that I read them. So the first book I read this month was Bat Eater, and Other Words for Cora Zhang. And I loved that. I loved that book. That was 5 stars. This book takes place during the pandemic, and it's about this woman who, she works as a murder scene cleanup worker. She cleans up the blood and guts at murder scenes. So I guess like a crime scene cleaner. Anyway, at the beginning of the book, her sister is brutally murdered when they're standing at the subway and somebody comes and pushes her sister in front of an oncoming train. And as they push her, they yell "Bat Eater" at her because it was during COVID at the time when some people were incredibly racist about the entire thing. Anyway, from there, it's a truly spooky story about her trying to help her sister find peace in the afterlife and just dealing with what's going on in New York City at that time. Would highly recommend. Next I read We Love You, Bunny by Mona Awad. This is the follow-up to Bunny, and it kind of works as a prequel and a sequel, which is fun. And I loved it. It was 5 stars. 5 stars. Going in, I was like, first of all, I was so excited to read it. I loved Bunny. Going in, I was like, is this going to be good? But I knew it was. I knew it was. But I still had that little part of me that was like, oh, I hope I'm not disappointed. I was not. Basically, with this, we get the history of the bunnies and how they kind of became who they are. And then we find out more about that time with Samantha. And they're basically, the beginning of the book, Samantha's been kidnapped by the bunnies because she's written a book about that time called Bunny. And they're like, you know what? No, that's not how it was at all. We're going to set the record straight. And then so that's like part 1, and then part 2 is from the point of view of a character we didn't meet in Bunny, but wow. And then for part 3, we go back to the bunnies, and I just loved it. After that, I read The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. I read that for the members only book club here on my channel, which feel free to join. I'd love to have you. And this was great. I love everything I've read from Jennifer McMahon. She's such a compelling storyteller to me. This wasn't my favorite of hers. I really loved The Invited and The Drowning Kind and My Darling Girl. But I enjoyed this too, 4 stars. So this, you're kind of getting parallel timelines as we're learning about something that happened in the past and then what's going on in the present. And it's a bit of a murder and a bit of a mystery, and I loved it. After that, I read Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. This was 3 stars. And interestingly enough, based on that title, it's funny because I had to go and look up what this book was about because I could not remember. And even after having reread the blurb, I still kind of can't remember. So for me, it was just really forgettable. I know it's like this girl, like her sister was killed, and somebody was arrested for the murder, but like in the present day, like her sister was killed 20 years ago. And now in the present day, things have come to light and she's figuring out who actually did it. Something like that. Anyway, 3 stars. Then I read House of Idol by Delilah S. Dawson. I had high hopes for this one. This one was the other 3 star. This is kind of a cult book. I don't love books about cults, so I should have known this one wasn't going to be for me. But it's short and it's easy to get through, and I didn't hate it at all. For me, it was kind of the ending. I was like, really? Really? Didn't love it. But it's about this girl. She's a musician. She's having a tough time of it. She's homeless, or about to be homeless. She's lost her job. Like, she gets picked up off the street by this guy who's like, why don't you come to our house, live in this mansion, this compound, make art. It'll cost you nothing. There's no strings attached. We've got a ton of artists living here. And she's like, wow, that sounds perfect. But I know there's strings attached. I know it in my heart. Because if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So, first it all goes well, but then, yes, of course, things start to go downhill. And I didn't love the final explanation. I was kind of hoping for something different. I don't even know what, but just different. But I love Delilah S. Dawson, and we'll read from her again in the future. I love her writing style. And like I said, this one, it wasn't bad. 3 stars is still a decent rating. Okay, next up we have Cujo by Stephen King. This one I read for my podcast, THC Library. Feel free to check that out on Spotify if you'd like. This was a reread for me. I read Cujo probably 20 years ago at this point. So much tension. I was so nervous the whole time reading it. Basically, everything that could go wrong in this group of people's lives go wrong to lead them to this moment with this mom and this little kid in a car with this rabid dog stalking it outside the car. And yeah, those scenes, it's so much tension. So much tension. It's sad. It's spooky. Poor Cujo. Like, he was just the sweetest, best dog. You get chapters from him, and it's very sad because he doesn't know what's happening to him. And he always wants to be such a good boy, but he can't after a while. Next up, we have the 2 books that comprise the July Stephen Graham Jones double feature. I love Stephen Graham Jones. You know this. I know this. Maybe even Stephen Graham Jones knows this. I don't know. Anyway, The Babysitter Lives was the first novella, and that was 5 stars. It's about this girl named Charlotte, and she's going to babysit these kids. It's the night before Halloween, and she is, she's getting ready to go to college soon. She's happy to be making some money. She's going to study for the SATs coming up, and holy macaroni, do things go badly this night. It's done in the kind of way that only Stephen Graham Jones can do it. Like, he takes an idea and then, a fairly common horror trope sort of idea, and then flips it on its head, kicks it in the ass, sends it to the ocean. Like, I don't even know, but I love it. This was so good, 5 stars. The second one, Killer on the Road. We got another kick-ass female final girl. We got Harper. And she's running away from home. She's had enough. And she's mad at her mom, and she's like, I'm getting out of here. She goes to start hitchhiking. Her friends pick her up instead. And then they become the marked target for a crazed serial killer on the highway. And it's so good. Now, of the 2, I think The Babysitter Lives was my favorite. I loved the tone of that. I loved where it went. I loved that ending where you're like, oh no. And I loved it. And, but yeah, they were both 5 stars for me. The whole book's 5 stars. Love it. Love the like gimmick of the two, like the flip book. So cool, so cute. So like it gives me like 80s vibes, 70s and 80s vibes, which is great for these sort of like thriller, or not thriller, slasher type horror novellas. Just works so good. Everything about it's perfect. Love it. No notes. 10 out of 10. Anyway, you guys, that's going to do it for me. I'm feeling a little delirious from the heat. I think tomorrow we're supposed to get a little break. It's supposed to be a little cooler tomorrow with rain. So I've got my fingers crossed for that because I can't take much more of this. And the house is like an oven. An oven. Anyway, thank you so much for, I was going to say watching, but I guess listening today. Thank you for listening. As always, I appreciate you guys so much for always being so supportive. I truly believe that I have the best audience on YouTube. I believe it because you guys leave so many amazing comments, and I think you're all so cool. You're all so cool. All right, I'm gonna go and get this edited and see what we can do to make the visuals at least a little entertaining. And I will see you again really soon with a spoiler-free book review of the new Darcy Coates book that's coming out later this month. I love Darcy Coates. Okay. Bye, guys.